Live from Citizen TV, this is JKL with Jeff Koinange.
And you know, if it's Wednesday, it's all about those three letters on the keyboard that follow each other. JKL. Thank you for joining us on this very last day in April. Tomorrow being Labor Day, we want to talk about labor, as in jobs, and a lot of young people. Tens of thousands of young people have been conned into seeking jobs overseas. We have a whole group of them right here. In fact, Calvin Yamweya, job seeker. Godfrey Mbote, job seeker. Dolene Osiemo, job seeker. Duncan Okindo, job seeker. This is just four of tens of thousands of Kenyans who paid money, tens of thousands of shillings, hoping to secure a job in Saudi Arabia, in Doha, in Dakar, Doha, in Oman, and in the Middle East. So we're going to talk about that. Also in the program will be Virginia Murigi. She's Secretary General, Kenya Association of Private Employment Agencies. Vincent Mbaka, he's the chairman of the Kenya Association of Private Employment Agencies. And last but not least, Francis Wahome, chairman, Association of Skilled Migrant Agencies of Kenya. It's a full bench, folks, and I know you have your questions and comments. You probably tried to get a job in the Middle East and it didn't work out. Ayub, this is a very hot potato topic.
No doubt, Africa is abundant in labor. Yeah. I was looking at a report by McKinsey and Company saying that America, China, Japan, South Korea, and the whole of Europe will see their working population between ages of 15 and 64 shrink by 340 million people by 2050 in 25 years' time. But it's the process that we'll hear tonight from the accounts of these victims.
Interesting.
Yes.
Start tweeting, folks, at Koinange Jeff.
At Ayub Abdikadir.
At Citizen TV Kenya, hashtag JKLIVE. JKLIVE begins right now. Tonight. More investigations required. Director of Public Prosecutions returns some case files to IPOA and closes others as LSK demands arrest of officers involved in police shootings.
Wachana wako hapa wengi, mapema wako hapa, wanamalizwa wasasi, tutafanya nini?
Huyo ndugu yangu alikuwa mtu mnyenyekevu, tena Mkristo, anajua Mwenyezi Mungu.
Pain and anguish. Families mourn kin shot dead during clashes between residents and security officers in Angata Barikoi. Big win for rights of protesters. Court declares police ban on protests in Nairobi Central Business District.
Alternative financing mechanisms that do not take the country the route of loans that could endanger the future of our country.
We have enough resources. President William Ruto says government is not going to borrow loans for infrastructure.
Yolanzale is our sign language interpreter. The High Court has outlawed the presence of plainclothes police officers in demonstrations and protests. Judge Bahati Mwamuye ruled that the Inspector General of Police should not deploy police in plainclothes to handle assembly or demonstrations. At the same time, the judge in a different case declared the ban on demonstrations in Nairobi's Business Central District in June last year illegal and unconstitutional. Brenda Wanga begins our broadcast tonight with the following report.
Nearly 1 year after the demonstrations that rocked the country over the 2024 finance bill, the demonstrators have scored a major victory against the state. A case filed by 11 petitioners faulted the then IG of Police Japhet Koome for banning an intended protest on the 18th of June 2024. The judge found that notice to be unconstitutional and an infringement on the rights to peaceful assembly, freedom of expression, and human dignity as enshrined in the Constitution. The 11 petitioners told the courts that the police beat, clobbered, maimed, and tortured them in the peaceful protest, and in the process also treated them in a cruel, inhuman, and degrading manner. They also claimed that they were illegally and indiscriminately arrested by police on the orders of the then IG of police. The judge not only found that the IG acted in excess of his powers, he also awarded the 11 petitioners 2.2 million shillings, 100,000 shillings each for general damages and 100,000 shillings as exemplary damages. Judge Mwamuye also dealt the police and the executive another blow when he ordered that all police officers deployed to maintain law and order during demonstrations or any other assembly must be in uniform with their faces clearly visible. The Law Society of Kenya had sued an officer alleged to be behind the killing of a protester, Rex Masai. LSK, in its suit, had argued that all instances of murder and police brutality during the demonstrations were linked to officers who had no identification and who wore no police uniforms. LSK argued that the incognito appearances of police officers enabled them to blend in with peaceful protesters who were exercising their constitutional rights. Brenda Wanga, Citizen TV.
The Director of Public Prosecutions, Renson Igonga, has revealed that out of the 11 cases referred by the Independent Policing and Oversight Authority to his office over the Gen Z killings and injuries last year, none is yet to meet the threshold for prosecution. In a press statement, the ODPP explained that most of these cases have either been sent back to IPOA for further investigation or ordered to undergo public inquest to determine the identities of the perpetrators. The Law Society of Kenya has in the meantime called for urgent legal action against police officers linked to extrajudicial killings and enforced disappearances, especially during last year's Gen Z-led demonstrations, accusing IPOA and the ODPP of dragging their feet, despite glaring evidence implicating the men and women in uniform. Ben Kiroi has the details of that story.
In the wake of explosive revelations by a BBC documentary linking police officers to the extrajudicial killings of Gen Z protesters, pressure is mounting on investigative bodies to ensure justice for victims. On Wednesday, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, ODPP, issued a detailed update on the status of the investigations, informing that most cases out of those submitted to the office had been closed due to insufficient evidence, while others were referred back to the Independent Policing Oversight Authority for further investigations. Among the active cases is that of Evans Kiratu, who reportedly died from blunt force trauma sustained on June 20th, 2024 in Nairobi's CBD. While the ODPP cited lack of conclusive evidence, the case remains open, with a public inquest still underway. Rex Kanyike Masai, who was shot in the thigh during protest, is the subject of a public inquest after the ODPP found IPOA's evidence inconclusive. The ODPP said key witnesses failed to come forward, while the CCTV footage failed to clearly identify the shooter. Public inquest hearings are expected to resume on May 12th. Gianna Makel Obonyo, a young girl struck by a bullet while cycling in her parents' compound on June 25th, 2024, has been referred back to IPOA. The ODPP cited incomplete forensic evidence as the bullet had not been released by Kenyatta National Hospital for ballistic examination. In Andrew Mwawasi's case linked to a shooting incident in Githurai 44, the ODPP confirmed it is reviewing the inquiry file and will announce a course of action soon. Cases closed due to lack of evidence include that of Thailand Odhiambo, with the DPP noting the medical report did not indicate any offense. The file has been marked closed. Similarly, the case of Emmanuel Giggs Tata was dropped after investigations found no evidence linking his death to police action. However, the DPP noted the file could be reopened if new information emerges. The inquiry into the death of Lewis Mroso was also closed, with the ODPP citing a lack of eyewitness and no proof of police involvement. Nonetheless, the DCI Parklands has been directed to open an inquest. Meanwhile, the Law Society of Kenya LSK has intensified calls for swift accountability.
Investigative report aired by the BBC African Eye on 27th April 2025 has left the country in shock over the malice, impunity and brutality with which unarmed young Kenyans were executed by officers of the national security organs for merely expressing their dissatisfaction with the government of the day.
They accused both IPOA and the ODPP of dragging their feet despite glaring evidence and urged the government to fast-track investigations and prosecutions. DPP Renson Ingonga acknowledged the gravity of the events of June 25, 2024, stating that legal processes alone may not fully address the underlying issues, saying a purely judicial or prosecutorial response may not suffice, preferring what he terms a wall-of-society approach may be needed, saying the ODPP continues to work with all stakeholders to find the best way forward that will comprehensively address the issues. Ben Kirui, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
And the news just in is that Kasipul lawmaker Charles Ongondo Were has been shot dead this evening at the Nairobi City mortuary roundabout. This is news just reaching our newsrooms, and the lawmaker was reportedly gunned down by two gunmen who were trailing him with a motorbike, and one of them disembarking and shooting him at a close range. And the suspects, according to witnesses who had witnessed the incident, had said that the driver has survived the shooting that happened at about 7:30 p.m. this evening. The ODM lawmaker, who was elected on an ODM party, was pronounced dead on arrival at a Nairobi hospital here in Nairobi. We can report authoritatively that Kasipul MP Charles Ongondo Were has been shot dead by unknown assailants this evening at the Nairobi City mortuary roundabout. The lawmaker, according to witnesses, was gunned down by two gunmen who are aboard a motorbike, one of them disembarking and shooting him at a close range. According to the witnesses, further, they said that the evening incident had happened at about 7:30 p.m. and the driver of the lawmaker, elected on an ODM ticket, has survived the shooting. The lawmaker was pronounced dead at a Nairobi hospital when he was rushed there for further medical assessments and the attention he so required at that time. And we have also dispatched our team who will be giving us further details, which remains scanty at this time. And we can also report that the Directorate of Criminal Investigations is proceeding there at the crime scene to gather more information as to the incident that has led to the death of Kasipul MP Ongondo Were, who was shot dead by unknown gunmen who are aboard a motorbike, one of them disembarking and shooting him at a close range. He has been pronounced dead upon admission at a Nairobi hospital. Further details in the course of this broadcast. Families of 5 people killed in a violent confrontation between Angata Barikoi locals and GSU officers on Monday are calling on the government to ensure justice is served. The families of 15-year-old Gideon Kipkorir and 21-year-old Isaiah Ingetich, whose lives were tragically cut short after being caught in the crossfire, are demanding accountability. As Gatete Njoroge tells us in the following report, the Director of Public Prosecutions has instructed investigative agencies to probe the incident and submit the case file within 7 days for further action.
A gloomy mood hangs over Kabusa village in Angata Barikoi. Residents are flocking the home of retired Chief Paul Kipngetich Ngeno to console his grieving family. The unfortunate events on Monday where protesting residents clashed with GSU officers ahead of a demarcation exercise on a 6,000 acres piece of land led to the death of his 21-year-old son Isaiah Ngetich. Ngetich, a student at Eldoret Polytechnic, was on the family farm when chaos broke out. He was allegedly shot dead after stepping out to find out what was happening.
Alikuwa akimaliza shule. Alikuwa anafanya course ya social work. This July angetoka sasa kwa shule. na tulikuwa tunamtarajia akuja afanye kazi mingi sana kwa nyumbani,
lakini hakuna kitu inalazimishwa kulazimisha kupitia vivyo vya watoto. Hiyo ilikuwa ni baya.
The grieving family, still lost for words, is now demanding justice even as they proceed with funeral arrangements.
Tunafanya nini katika nchi wetu wa Kenya? Sisi tutaenda wapi? Na tuko angata, babu zetu walituleta mahali hapa. Na watu wetu tumepoteza wapapa.
Just 3 kilometers away in Kapsinendet, Ribot, a somber mood also hangs over the home of John Kirui. His 15-year-old son Gideon Kipkorir tragically lost his life, allegedly at the hands of law enforcers who were meant to protect him.
Nilipata tu imekuwa maskari amepiga kichwa, mtu akanipigia simu, kijana wako imepigwa na risasi. Nikakimbia hospitali, nikapata hospitali ya Chaingia, kukaa kidogo, nikapata kijana inaletwe, kuangalia kijana amesaya aga.
Meanwhile, members of the Ongata Barikoi Farmers Cooperative Society Limited, who claim their land rights have been encroached upon, have condemned the recent violence. In a press statement, the society's leadership blamed political interference for disrupting a legal process, stating that the demarcation of 1,500 acres was being carried out in accordance with a lawful court order. They added that the group had voluntarily agreed to cede the land following a lengthy court battle, which culminated in a consent order issued under Civil Appeal number E025 of 2022 in Nakuru.
The society is deeply concerned by the growing trend of victimization of government civil servants who are simply fulfilling their lawful obligations in implementing a judicial order. It is unjust and dangerous to transfer or punish such officers for upholding the rule of law.
The Director of Public Prosecutions, Renson Ingoga, has directed the DCI to investigate the deaths and submit the file within 7 days for further action. Gatete Njoroge, Citizen TV.
The High Court has dealt a major blow to fraudulent procurement schemes, cancelling a tender for the renovation of Kenyatta Municipal Stadium in Kitale over fraud and irregularities. In a judgment delivered this Wednesday afternoon, the court declared the tender null and void, directing that over 25 million Kenya shillings be refunded to the government by former county officials and the contractor involved. Here's our investigative affairs reporter, Ode Francis, with the details of that report.
A ruling by Justice Nixon Sifuna at the Milimani High Court has exposed deep-rooted fraud in the awarding of contracts for the renovation of Kenyatta Municipal Stadium and the construction of market sheds in Kitale, revealing that taxpayers lost 23.3 million shillings in the process.
The contracts dated 16th September 2013 and 22nd April 2014 between the third defendant and the county government of Trans Nzoia for the renovation of Kenyatta Stadium in Kitale, Trans Nzoia County was tainted with irregularities, illegalities, and fraud, as already discussed in this judgment. Hence are null and void ab initio, meaning as if there were no contract at all.
The case filed by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission EACC revealed a web of irregularities, including falsified documents and manipulated bids.
The county had a budget for the said works, but which as a result of this fraud-laden tender caused the county government to pay more than was budgeted. I need to emphasize, though, that the defendant's sin was not only overshooting the budget, but also the irregularities, illegalities, and fraud in the said tenders. The contracts were as illegal as the tenders themselves.
At the center of the scandal were 3 county officials. Joseph Mwindi Tevulo, the former head of supply chain management at the Trans Nzoia County, who illegally signed off on the contracts. Also named was Benjamin Ruto Timin Tim, the county architect who supervised the works. The suit against him was terminated following his death, and Robert Simiyu Wambulwa, trading as Koi building contractors, accused of securing contracts through fraudulent bidding. Court records show that the county had approved only 10 million shillings, yet payments ballooned to 15.8 million shillings in direct violation of procurement laws.
Some of the documents in the bid documents related to other projects, totally different from the projects, from the two projects. And gave an example of construction of courtrooms at Kitale courts. What happened was, when tender documents were gathered to be given to the investigations, they contained documents not related to these tenders.
The court has now declared the tender null and void, ordering that the three accused refund 25.3 million shillings, with commercial interest applied until full recovery. Joseph Muindi Tevulo be barred from handling any government procurement, and the accused must cover all legal costs. June 4th mentioned date has been set to determine the commercial rates for interest charges.
A copy of this judgment be transmitted to the Honorable Attorney General of the Republic of Kenya to consider appropriate sanctions against the first defendant, Joseph Muindi Tevulo, who was a public officer at the time of the subject tenders, barring him from holding any procurement portfolio in public sector.
Ode Francis, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
Kenyatta University Vice-Chancellor Professor Paul Wainaina has returned to the institution hours after the Employment and Labour Relations Court ordered his reinstatement as the institution's top executive. Professor Wainaina, who had been on compulsory leave since April last year, as Kamau Mwangi tells us in the following report, now has made his second return to the institution and has committed to soldier on and serve with integrity.
In scenes reminiscent of his dramatic return in November 2022, Professor Paul Wainaina is back at the helm of the Kenyatta University as its Vice-Chancellor, following an early Wednesday morning ruling by the Employment and Labour Relations Court that reinstated him as the bona fide holder of the office in the ongoing leadership tussle at the premier institution. Wainaina had moved to court in January this year to protest the university's council decision to extend the compulsory leave he had been sent on by the head of public service past the January 30th, 2025 date. He got a nod from the court to serve the institution till the end of his term, which will lapse in January 2026.
The reason why I'm standing here is because we have a judge that could not be compromised.
The orders have put on ice a process that had been started by the university's council, chaired by Dr. Ben Chumo, to recruit a new vice-chancellor, and will also shield the professor from dismissal as a lecturer at the institution upon the expiry of his tenure, for he will not have attained 75 years of age, the mandatory retirement age for professors.
We are going to work with you. We are going to do what is lawful. We are going to make sure we don't compromise anything. I know we have a lot of problems in universities. It's not just KU. But I will do my best until the time when I retire.
Professor Wainaina's troubles began in August of 2022 after he refused to cede 410 acres of university land for the construction of an infectious disease unit to the government under the World Health Organization. Professor Washeke Wanjoi has been leading the varsity in acting capacity. Kamau Mwangi, Citizen TV.
Now, President William Ruto says his administration has developed alternative financing mechanisms for infrastructure projects that will not require the country to borrow further. The head of state, while presiding over the installation of Dr. Bernard William Chitunga as the Chancellor of the Cooperative University of Kenya, reiterated that public-private partnerships are the only way to address the nation's underdevelopment. Here's Seth Olale with the event's highlights.
The proposed expansion of the 175 kilometers Rironi-Mau Summit Highway into a dual carriage will be facilitated under a private-public partnership. Once operational, the facility will use a toll payment system equivalent to the Nairobi Expressway to reimburse investment capital to the investor.
Public-private partnership, investment. That is what is going to build that road.
the president announcing the government's departure from seeking expensive commercial loans for infrastructure development in the country.
We have developed alternative financing mechanisms that do not take the country the route of loans that could endanger the future of our country.
Similarly, the extension of the standard gauge railway from Naivasha to Malaba via Kisumu will be funded by a private-public partnership arrangement.
The railway you saw put in the framework that we negotiated in China, from now Naivasha all the way to Uganda, is also going to be built not by loans to the government of Kenya, but it's going to be built by investments.
The head of state, while gracing the installation of Dr. Bernard William Chitunga as the second Chancellor of Cooperative University of Kenya, said key reforms aimed at curbing mismanagement in the country's higher learning institutions are beginning to bear fruit. Former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, who attended the ceremony, asked the youth to develop a saving culture, which he says is the only key to investing in productive initiatives that will generate income.
And saving is very important in terms of wealth creation. When you save, you can be able to invest. I said earlier on, there's what we call the vicious cycle of poverty.
Seth Olale, Citizen TV.
Breaking news right there. Huh?
Yes.
Kasipul Member of Parliament.
James Ongondowere.
Yeah. Gunned down.
Yes, yeah.
On Ngong Road by a gunman on a motorbike.
One disembarked and shot him at a close range.
Good Lord.
He passed on when he was rushed to hospital for further medical assistance.
Wow.
And he was pronounced dead.
That's some serious stuff.
But we can report authoritatively that his driver has survived. And at this time, we also can report that the Principal Secretary of the Ministry of Interior and the National Administration, Dr. Raymond Omolo, is headed there, and a team of DCI dispatched to go and...
It looked like a targeted killing. Right?
Assassination.
They knew what they wanted. All right. Let's take a break right here. Plenty more ahead, including business, sports, and then our guests. It's all about the labor of love.
Yes.
Or not. People seeking thousands of jobs across the UAE.
The world, actually.
Oh, in the world?
Yes. Yep.
And I'm telling you, Duncan Okindo, here's Dolene Osiemo, Godfrey Mbote, Calvin Nyamoya, all these folks seeking jobs, and I know tens of thousands of you have applied. And maybe you spent your money and then you were conned. That's what we're going to talk about. Virginia Murigi is going to talk to us as well. Vincent Mbaka, Francis Wahome. Folks, it's a full bench, and I know many of you have had similar experiences. Trying to get that job in the Middle East, you sell a cow, you sell a piece of land, you sacrifice everything, and it all comes to naught. Keep tweeting at Kwenanga Jeff.
At Ayub Abdikadir.
At Citizen TV Kenya. The hashtag is JKLIVE. JKLIVE takes a break. We'll be back in a moment. In the meantime, coming up.
Ever wonder what it feels like to have a squad taking care of your every need? This is me, Clint. From the moment I wake up, I've got someone taking care of all my financial needs. Personal or business. That's right, a whole squad. Introducing the Loop Squad. Where I go, they go. It's not an app. It's a lifestyle. Get your own Loop Squad today and simplify your life. Why wait? Loop it.
It starts with little moments of courage. To stepping out into the new world with confidence. Taking leaps of faith. Spreading your wings and soaring to new heights. Your mother's love is with you wherever you go. Stay soft. Nothing lasts like mom's love.
Listen up. Colocate is on a mission. It makes our gums happy and our teeth strong. See? We're moving forward and making changes.
It's kind of a big thing.
Colgate Herbal uses traditional nature's herbs and combines it with Colgate Science for healthy gums and strong teeth. And we'll leave no smile behind.
Experience the power of the ultimate glow in our new revitalizing formula. With 3 times more oil-infused serum, Vaseline Lotions penetrates and restores your skin's natural moisture from within, while boosting your natural glow on the outside. No need to add extra oils or glycerin. Feel the difference. See the power of the ultimate glow. New Vaseline Lotions.
As a parent, our biggest aspiration is to see our children succeed. But with this dream lies a weight of responsibility. At DTB, we understand the challenges you face and are here to help you ease the burden of educational costs. By requiring no collateral and offering flexible repayment options, our school fees loan provides up to 1 million shillings to give your child the chance to pursue their dreams. Bank on us for their future and apply for a school fees loan today. SMS fees to 23359 or visit any of our DTB branches today for more information. DTB, bank with us, bank on us.
Craving an extraordinary escape? View Travel invites you to breathtaking Cape Town. Starting from $1,300 per person sharing, enjoy 4 nights with breakfast plus Cape Town City Tour, cable car ride up Table Mountain, full-day Peninsula Tour, scenic Chapman's Peak Drive, Cape of Good Hope, photo stops at Bokap and Muizenberg, Constantia Wineland Estate Tour. View Travel, your gateway to Cape Town's wonders. Visit viewtravel.com or call and WhatsApp 0703-254-254. View Travel. Dream. Explore. Discover.
Kote nchini mbele tuendelee. Mbele Kenya twende mbele.
Kenya Twende Mbele. NCBA. Go for it.
And we need 2 Royco cubes because iron gives you strength to sukuma yourself to be the best you can be.
Sukuma na Royco, kula sukuma na Royco, sukuma wiki na Royco.
All right, listen up. Colocate is on a mission. It makes our gums happy and our teeth strong. See? We're moving forward and making changes.
It's kind of a big thing.
Colgate Herbal uses traditional nature's herbs and combines it with Colgate Science for healthy gums and strong teeth. And we'll leave no smile behind.
Get business credit card from Cooperative Bank and pay for business stock and supplies on credit instead of using your own money. You can make payments in Kenya, abroad, and online.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. You are watching JK Live. The government now says it has not introduced any new taxes in the Finance Bill 2025, saying the move is meant to reduce the high cost of living in the country. Treasury CS John Badi instead says the government is introducing new measures which will give more relief to the taxpayer. As Emmanuel Toh now tells us in the following report, the state is targeting to reduce the current budget proposals by 130 billion Kenya shillings from the original 4.3 trillion Kenya shillings budget.
The real finance bill now has arrived in Parliament.
The much-anticipated Finance Bill 2025 was Wednesday introduced in the National Assembly after getting a nod from Cabinet Tuesday. And while the details of the bill still remain scanty, the government says it has listened to the common mwananchi and has not introduced any further taxes. Speaking to Citizen TV, Treasury CS John Mbadi said, quote, "We have not introduced any tax measures which will add the burden on the taxpayer." The CS adding that, in fact, the government had reduced the existing burden, including exempting tea and coffee packaging from tax, reducing the crypto tax rate from 3% to 1.5%, and exempting retirees' gratuity payments from tax. The Ministry of Treasury also adding that it is making changes to the Income Tax Act, VAT Act, Excise Duty Act, and the Tax Procedures Act. The government is also planning to cut the current proposals of 4.3 trillion shillings budget by 133 billion shillings and bring it down to about 4.2 trillion shillings. The CS adding that the cuts will only affect the national government's operational costs, travel, and other necessary spending. These changes, the government says, are informed by the need to listen to the people to prevent the scenes witnessed last year when the Gen Zs led the Reject Finance Bill 2024. This as the National Assembly Finance Committee is now expected to take the hot seat of leading public participation on the bill.
It should be noted that the Budget and Appropriations Committee is required to discuss and review the budget estimates and make recommendations to the House.
The Speaker cautioning the members, who are expected to be on a month-long recess beginning Thursday, 1st of May, from rejecting the bill without reading it.
Read them, analyze them, debate them in this House. Helpless villagers in funerals and public places out there will not help you debate and pass appropriate budgeting processes in this House.
Please, let us tell the public exactly what is in the finance bill. If there are no more taxations, there are no more taxations. Let us not import things into the finance bill that does not exist.
The bill is yet to be made public, with the opposition already suspicious of the hidden tax burdens in it. President William Ruto was forced to withdraw the Finance Bill 2024 after the pressure from the deadly protests. Emmanuel Toh, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
Back to our earlier top story, the breaking news on the shooting of Kasipul MP Charles Ongondawere. And now our reporter Emmanuel Toh joins us live here by way of phone. Emmanuel, good evening to you. And what have you managed to gather regarding the incident which happened in the evening?
Well, thank you very much, Ayub. Definitely a very unfortunate situation. And right now we are at the Nairobi hospital where several vehicles of members of parliament and family members are arriving here to just confirm and, of course, be part and parcel of the process of that incident where Kasipul MP Ongondawere Charles was fatally shot this evening at around 7:30 p.m. at the city mortuary roundabout. And it is said that the legislator was gunned down by two people who are trailing him on a motorbike. And right now we are here, and the members of parliament are just coming in. I've seen the leader, or the MP, one of the MPs from Nairobi, who has actually arrived a few minutes ago. It should be Embakasi West MP, who just drove in a few minutes ago. And there are still more vehicles that are coming in and out of Nairobi Hospital. We have seen some family members as well. We have not been allowed to go inside the hospital at the moment, but the security is just trying to clear us. But just before I came to this place, we were at the city mortuary roundabout. The scene has been cleared. There are no vehicles, police vehicles, or any sign of any activity around that place. But we witnessed, we saw some place where there were some shattered glasses, which were, I think it was a sign of what had transpired there. And of course, we will be monitoring the situation and give you the details. But the MP had actually lamented or complained about his security, about 2 or 3 months ago. And some are saying actually he was in Parliament today for the activities today. Remember, Parliament was finalizing its business, especially the finance bill, before they could proceed on a month-long recess. Remember, they are due for a recess that starts tomorrow for a month. And so this is the situation, Ayub, but we'll be monitoring and give you details as they unfold. Ayub.
Thank you, Emmanuel, giving us an assessment of the situation following the shooting of the lawmaker. And Emmanuel, given the circumstances under which cannot be, of course, established at this moment, and the complaints that he had managed to raise regarding his security, what does then this tell us about the state of security here, given that it's an MP who is now involved and certainly the perpetrators are unknown?
Well, Ayub, this is really a very difficult situation right now. The police, the DCI are trying to piece together the details before and after the shooting. And currently, some reports, we've spoken to some officers from the DCI who are in hot pursuit of the alleged shooters, those ones who are on motorbikes. But we're waiting to see what else will come out of this process. Remember, there was a time when a member of parliament was shot dead, but it has been quite some time when such a situation has been witnessed. And of course, the story is just breaking. We're still waiting to hear from the security officials to give us a concrete or a comprehensive update, Ayub.
Okay. Thanks, Emmanuel. And more details will follow here in the course of the broadcast as he continues to piece together what has happened and the shooting of the lawmaker Charles Ongondowere. Interior CS Kipchumba Murkomen has directed that chiefs from 5 counties grappling with frequent livestock raids be registered and armed for self-defense. The chiefs drawn from the counties of Meru, Isiolo, Marsabit, Laikipia and Samburu say they know livestock thieves but fear arresting them due to threats to their lives. Murkomen made the directive after meeting with security heads from the region in the county of Isiolo. Here is Willie Lusige with that report.
Just days after a man was killed and others injured in livestock raid at Madhosimpira in Merti, Isiolo, suspected to have been carried out by rustlers from Samburu community, tension remains high. The incident added to the rising cases of livestock theft in the region. Interior Cabinet Secretary Onesmus Kipchumba Murkomen met with security officials from Meru, Isiolo, Marsabit, Laikipia and Samburu to discuss long-term solutions to the recurring livestock raids.
Lazima sisi wote wenye tuko hapa tutembee kwa direction moja.
Murkomen directed that all chiefs who operate in the area perceived as dangerous will get an extra layer of protection.
Every chief mwenye ako hapa na anasikia maisha yake iko hatari, tuko tayari kukuregister ukue NPR na upewe bunduki ya serikali ndio ujilinde wewe mwenyewe.
The decision follows concerns from chiefs who claim they know the rustlers but fear making arrests due to constant threats and lack of protection.
Hiyo sio ati itafanyika siku nyingine. Mkiondoka kutoka hapa ambia habari zako kwa OCBD, tutaona machiefs wangapi, tutaregister NPR, wapelekwe tena training, alafu wataweza kujilinda.
Murkomen also ordered that armed NPR officers selected by public and government, not politicians, be assigned to these chiefs.
Alafu hizo ma NPR wakuwe attached na chief, ndio wasaidie hawa kwa mambo ya enforcement kwa sehemu zenye wanatembelea.
The government also announced plans to go after the masterminds behind the cattle rustling vice and the main beneficiaries.
Yeah, those people to be arrested wenye wananunua hiyo ng'ombe and they are buying intentionally. Na wanabuy kwa their own standby kuhakikisha ati wamenunua. Number 2, where are the guns coming from? We need to go for those who are actually selling their ammunitions. Whether they are police officers, whether they are traffickers who buy from across the country, out of the country.
Don't fear to work. As long as you're working within the law and you all know that kind of a law, you can be rest assured that we will stand with you tonight.
Livestock theft remains a persistent problem, especially between Boran and Samburu communities. With banditry still troubling parts of Rift Valley and eastern regions, the government is now banking on improved security coordination, maliza uhalifu operations, and revetting of NPRS officers to restore peace. The country now watches to see if the plan will be able to end decades-old menace. Willie Lusige, Citizen TV, Isiolo.
Concern is growing after the sudden development of sinkholes in Nakuru West and Eburu Mbaruk in Gilgil, Nakuru County, following heavy rainfall on Tuesday evening. Locals in the county have been urged to exercise caution and report any incidents on the formation of sinkholes, as Median Nyambura now tells us in the following report.
Residents of London in Nakuru West woke up to news of a sinkhole that had emerged along the London-Kabarak Road. Police officers cordoned off the area as the sinkhole posed a serious risk to motorists and residents. According to witnesses, the sinkhole appeared shortly after a heavy downpour.
Hii shida ya mashimo kutokea imekuwa ikitokea hii Nakuru, hasa msimu ya mvua. Msimu ya mvua Nakuru, watu inapoonekana mvua, watu wanalala na hofu. Manake hii shimo huwezi jua inatokea wapi kwa manyumba.
Nimetoka asubuhi kuelekea town. Kufika hapa ndio nikakuta magari yanapandisha tena juu, wakasema barabara hapa imesink. So ndio sasa nimeshuhudia kweli vile imesink.
Nakuru West Deputy County Commissioner Ali Omar has issued a warning to residents in London area to remain vigilant and avoid potentially unstable grounds. Kenya officials swung into action covering the sinkhole.
Tunaambia watu wa Nakuru, mkiona shimo yoyote ambayo maji inapotelea ndani, tafadhali mripoti kwa haraka kwa machief, kwa ward admins, ili tuweze kushughulikia na kuita departments ambazo zinaweza kutusaidia.
The sinkhole phenomenon is not new in this region. Over the past 3 years, 3 sub-counties of Rongai, Nakuru West and Gilgil have been affected.
And I wonder where the geological department in Nakuru is. Because you know, Nakuru it has fault lines that are emanating from the Menengai crater. So it is upon the geological department to be doing a feasibility study, because they know every time it rains, there has to be these kind of problems. They should be the ones evacuating people, telling people it's not safe to stay in this building because there's a fault line coming through here. This is just an example of one of these things.
Experts attribute this trend to Nakuru's unique geological structure, situated at the base of the Great Rift Valley, which is prone to underground erosion and instability. The sinkholes have so far affected Ngata area in Rongai sub-county, Eburu Mbaruk in Gilgil, Kaptembwa, London and Kiamuni in Nakuru West. Marian Nyambura, Citizen TV.
Now, in a show of gratitude to the community engagement, the Citizen TV team, alongside the production crew of the Neema show, today transformed Ndere Mixed Secondary School into a vibrant display of color and renewed energy. As part of their ongoing commitment to social impact, the team donated and applied fresh, lively paints to the school's classrooms, breathing new life into the institution's physical environment, and the school, which has served as filming location for Neema show, which was chosen for this makeover as a gesture of appreciation and the community support. This initiative is a reflection of Citizen TV's broader mission to give back to the communities that support its programming. With a splash of generosity and a stroke of creativity, the media house brought not only beauty but also a sense of pride and inspiration to the school community.
You make us number one, you enable us, and then tunajituma, tunawaletea vipindi fiti kama Neema, and then everybody wins in the cycle.
The school had never had any additional paint work. So I told them, if you can do some painting, we'll appreciate. And today, they have actually come here to do the needful, to give us or to donate the paint that is required to give our school a face lift.
Coming up, April inflation rises to 4.1% following a near 9-month downward trend in the cost of living.
Our bodies are sustained by nature's endless gifts. From the food we eat to the air we breathe, the vitamins and minerals strengthen us, helping us glow and thrive. Introducing Vitamin N for nature. Give your skin a daily dose of Vitamin N. Experience Amara Skincare. Packed with Vitamin N. Amara. Embrace nature.
In the heart of Kenya's fertile farmlands, our story begins. Harvested with care, our maize is transformed using state-of-the-art milling technology, ensuring every grain is perfect for your table. Crafted by hand, prepared with love and shared with joy. From farm to family, every bite is a celebration of togetherness and moments that matter most. Mfalme Ugali, pure taste, pure value from farm to plate.
We were in need of classes at a very fast rate. Traditional building method takes a lot of time. With SBS, we were able to build very good classrooms at a short amount of time. Juja is a very hot area. They explained to us about the cooling solution they have, and true to their word, the classes are very cool. Partnering with SBS enabled us to have excellent classrooms. We had confidence in them and they delivered.
SAFBuild, a quality product from Safal Building Systems, a subsidiary of MRM.
Ah, the thrilling world of businesses in the city. Mato, you on speed dial. Looking for help with his LPO, he needs to deliver laptops fast. Enter Stanbic Bank, the game changer in LPO financing. Anna get to expand his horizons, grow your biashara and unlock your horizons with our payments and collections, vehicle and asset financing, unsecured bid bonds, LPO financing, insurance, cross-border solutions, and so much more. Stanbic Bank is regulated by the Central Bank of Kenya.
Zaidi na mavuno. Mbinu yetu maalum ya mazao na udongo ina virutubishi 12 muhimu, hivyo kuongeza mavuno kwa zaidi ya 30%. Mbolea ya mavuno inaboresha rutuba ya udongo, hurekebisha asidi na kusawazisha pH kwa mazao yenye afya. Ikiwa imejaa virutubishi vidogo, mbolea ya mavuno huongeza ladha, umbile, rangi na lishe ya mazao yako. Imethibitishwa kufanya vyema katika hali zote za hewa na kutoa matokeo ya muda mrefu. Tumia mbolea iliyochanganywa kutoka kwa mavuno pekee na sio mbolea iliyonyooka kama vile DAP na urea, kwani itaunguza udongo wako.
KCSE graduates, launch your future, achieve your dreams. Train at Jordan College of Technology, which is a brand trusted by employers locally and internationally. We train highly marketable courses in engineering, journalism, ICT, catering, tourism, hair and beauty, medical, fashion and interior design, business, short courses and driving. We take pride in providing quality education, state-of-the-art facilities, comprehensive programs, top-notch faculty, career support and vibrant campus life. Apply now for our ongoing May Grand Intake and train with the best. Visit us at our new ultra-modern campus, Jordan Towers, Thika Town. Jordan College of Technology, the leading TVET and medical institution in Kenya.
Chinos from 5,600 shillings. Only core span yarn with stretch. Pre-washed, color fast and shrink proof so they last longer. The only chinos to choose.
Discover the new Venus Advanced Care Body Lotion, a revolutionary blend of serums and natural ingredients designed to transform your skin into a masterpiece of firmness, radiance, and youthfulness. Infused with hyaluronic acid serum, nature's ultimate moisturizer, Venus unveils confidence that captivates with 5 times more hydration. Venus, inspired by nature, perfected by science.
Ready to step into a world of opportunities? Welcome to Machakos Institute of Technology, a global leader in TVET, offering skill-based courses designed to keep you ahead in today's job market. Our affordable and flexible learning options make MIT your gateway to vast career opportunities. Our campus is equipped with state-of-the-art labs, hostels, qualified trainers, Wi-Fi, and investment in extracurricular activities. Our May 2025 intake is ongoing. Enroll today. Call 0722-973-271 or apply online through our website www.mit.ac.ke. Master the training, experience the rewards. Welcome to Boma Mabati Factory, the 2024 award winner in roofing solutions. All our products come with warranty and are KEBS certified. Be part of our many satisfied customers by visiting us to enjoy great discounts. Boma Mabati Factory, Mabati Poa, near Boma.
St. Augustine's Parish in Songari is embarking on a remarkable journey to create a prayer garden that will inspire generations to come. And you can be part of this vision. Join us on the 2nd of May 2025 at the Muthaiga Golf Club for a special golf tournament. Every swing, every putt, every moment on the course brings us closer to making this dream a reality. Sign up today and be a part of something truly special.
It is exactly 7 minutes to the top of the hour. Thank you so much for joining us on Jeff Kanenge Live. We're going to keep returning to that top story. We're telling you about the gunning down of the Kasipul Member of Parliament, Charles Were. We have our very own Emmanuel Toh live at the Nairobi Hospital to get a quick update. Emmanuel Toh, what do we have? What are we hearing?
Well, right now, Jeff, we are here at the Nairobi Hospital and the members of Parliament are just streaming in. Right now, there are so many vehicles that are coming in and out of Nairobi Hospital. We have seen some members of Parliament coming in to just confirm and be sure about that shooting that has been reported, the fatal shooting of the MP for Kasipul, Ongondo Charles Were. And of course, we have been here. We have not been granted access to the Nairobi Hospital right now, but we have some pictures of the vehicles that are coming in. We are waiting for the PS of Interior, Raymond Omolo, Dr. Raymond Omolo, whom we have been informed that he will be making his way here to the Nairobi Hospital to probably just take a stock of what has transpired. But what we know, we have been at the City Mortuary roundabout just a few minutes ago, where we saw the scene has already been cleared, but we could see some shattered pieces of glasses, or I think that is the part where the shooting was actually happening, or where it happened. And of course, we're here to wait to get a full statement. We have seen also some family members coming in, and it has been about 2 hours and 30 minutes or so since that incident, and there's still some coming, even members of the public. There's some boda riders that are also here. The Member of Parliament was very popular, and he had his support base from the ODM party, where he has been a Member of Parliament. And of course, before this shooting, there were some activities that happened in Parliament, and I'm told he was part of the members of Parliament who are discussing some of the last business of the House before the House actually closed business for recess. Remember, the MPs are due for some recess, about a month-long recess beginning tomorrow, the 1st of May. And of course, we are here to try and see whether we can also get a chance to speak to the Speaker of the National Assembly. There's some who are still coming in. We hope that we'll get a chance, but it is a situation that has sent shockwaves across the country and beyond, and it reminds the country of the happenings of a few years ago in 2015, when the Member of Parliament for Kabete then, George Mushai, was shot and killed at the Nairobi Central Business District. A few hours of Saturday morning, where he was actually traveling with his family in a separate vehicle, and he was shot dead. And this is just a situation that continues to ask questions about the security of the police, the members of parliament, and even the general public. But even before this incident, there were cases where the MP complained that his life was in danger. There are pictures of him some time back when he was in his constituency, where he complained of being attacked by some goons that he says were organized to disrupt his meeting. And it is a situation that unfolded in East Kamagak ward in Kasipul constituency, Homa Bay County, where a scuffle broke out and the MP was actually injured and his vehicle vandalized. And of course, we'll be here to give you the full picture, especially when we see the members of parliament come here to address us, and of course the CS or the PS for Interior, Raymond Omolo. Back to you, Jeff.
All right, Emmanuel To, thanks so much for that update. And of course, we'll be going to you throughout the evening, throughout the night, and also into tomorrow to find out exactly what happened on Gong Road. Thanks so much. Emmanuel To live at Nairobi Hospital. Are you on to business news?
Yes. And here it's what's coming up in the business segment of JK Live tonight. The cost of living rose sharply in April, with inflation hitting a new 8-month high. Data from the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics shows that prices increased by 4.1% compared to April last year. While food, transport and energy costs pushed inflation upward, the central bank remains optimistic that overall price stability will hold in the coming months. Here is more from our reporter, Wamboi Wangoi.
Cost of living in April hit an 8-month high, with inflation rising to 4.1% year-on-year. This means that prices were 4.1% higher in April this year than April 2024. Inflation has risen steadily since late last year, rising to 3.3% in January, 3.5% in February, and 3.6% in March. The 0.5 percentage point jump to 4.1% last month was the highest in over 2 years. This inflationary increase was driven by a jump in food prices, with Irish potatoes, maize and fortified maize flour rising by up to 4%. Transport costs also increased by 0.5%, largely due to a surge in bus fares during the Easter holidays. This is despite a drop in fuel prices. Electricity and gas prices rose as well, pushing up household expenses. However, the central bank, in its latest Monetary Policy Committee meeting held on April 9th, noted that the outlook for inflation in the near and medium term remains positive.
The committee noted that overall inflation was expected to remain below the midpoint of the 5 plus or minus 2.5% target range in the near term, and this will be supported by low core inflation, lower food inflation, stable energy prices inflation, and the continued stability of the
Wamboi Wangoi, Citizen TV.
Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Mbadi has given a progress update on the ongoing IMF diagnostics program. With the program due to conclude in October this year, the CS says he sees no reason why the report shouldn't be made public. The assessment program requested by the Kenyan government is set to identify the weaknesses in the country's governance system and outline key recommendations for effective governance. Jemmy Mbogo now takes a look at the process, its benefits, and why the involvement of the civil society is key.
It is a process that is expected to expose the country's governance underbelly to strengthen critical governance system, ranging from revenue mobilization, expenditure, procurement process, fiscal governance, as well as corruption and the rule of law, among others. According to the National Treasury CS, the move to invite the IMF to audit Kenya's system is aimed at equipping the government with the tools to seal all the governance gaps.
The government of Kenya requested for governance diagnostics from IMF, which is a normal practice. Many jurisdictions, many countries, many economies have sought for such assistance. IMF is actually an institution that helps countries or economies to stabilize.
But civil society actors say the move is key for both parties.
For IMF to regain its legitimacy in Kenya, they need a governance diagnostic based on what happened and the outright failure of their most recent program. They now have no choice than to go deeper and broader beyond just fiscal measures. Okay? It is very clear that the US Embassy, EU ambassadors told Kenya, you need a governance diagnostic.
Diana Gishengo says the International Monetary Fund will rely on numerous sources of information, such as government reports from the Auditor General, EACC, Controller of Budget, media reports, as well as civil society reports, even as she warns against the government interference in the process to paint a rosy picture.
But because of the political governance in the fiscal space, we are perceived as an irresponsible borrower, an irresponsible spender, and a country with very low standards of accountability. When it comes to the FATF process, we've not made much progress for 10 years.
But according to Dr. Abraham Rugo, the Executive Director of Budgeti Hub, the report may not reveal any new information that has not been revealed by local institutions. He further emphasized on the importance of political goodwill for the outcome to be effective.
I mean, the part that will be most interesting to watch is what is different from what EACC has already revealed, what the Auditor General has already revealed, what the Controller of Budget has already revealed. There are enough reports that show, where the vulnerabilities are.
The consequences of the report, however, is the most concerning, with experts warning that a damning report from the International Monetary Fund could further complicate Kenya's ability to access funding from the international market.
The outcome should be that then we have an agreed position of how, but largely it's the international bodies, because they use that, international bodies both public and private, because they use that a lot to be able to assess the risk, their risk exposure to the investments, both the ones they are giving straight to government, but also the investments they are making, in Kenya.
The international market read it very, very keenly. They read it very, very keenly, and it informs how they interact. But it's not so much the report, it is the leadership that takes up the report, how the leadership of that particular country takes up the report.
Civil society has further warned the government against concealing the report.
It will be an abomination for this government not to publish this report. It is a Kenyan report. It cannot be in a shelf. It cannot be private. That is why I am saying I expect that whether it's the Prime Cabinet Secretary or the Cabinet Secretary for Treasury and Planning, when they get that report, it goes straight to the Speaker.
I was very careful to say from where I sit, I don't see why that should not be made public, but that will be a cabinet decision.
Now, according to experts, the outcome of the IMF governance diagnosis is dependent on how forthcoming the government will be with information, while its impact will be based on how the government implements the recommendation from the IMF. Jimmy Mbogo, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
In a bid to boost local tomato production and reduce reliance on imports, seed developers across Kenya have embarked on an ambitious breeding program aimed at the production of high-yielding, climate-resilient and disease-resistant tomato varieties tailored to different regions. Dennis Otieno has more on this week's Smart Farm.
At the Kenya Agricultural and Livestock Research Organization station in Kandara constituency, Murang'a County, a tomato breeding program in collaboration with private sector partners aims to tackle challenges such as poor seed quality, low yields, and the adverse impacts of climate change on tomato production. According to Calro, tomatoes are a staple in most households, featuring in at least 2 meals a day. However, poor seed varieties have made it difficult for Kenya's over 500,000 tomato farmers to meet growing domestic demand. Despite having over 300 tomato varieties, Kenya still imports significant quantities of tomatoes from neighboring countries such as Tanzania, Uganda, Ethiopia, and the Democratic Republic of Congo to bridge the supply gap.
One of the problems in the marketplace is these tomatoes have to travel a long way from the field to the market. So it's extremely important to have something with a long shelf life and a solid skin.
It is against this backdrop that seed breeders have intensified efforts to improve tomato breeding programs locally. A key focus is on developing varieties that can withstand the extremes brought on by climate change.
This particular variety we're going to have a quick look at now is called Buena Vista F1. We've just released this in Kenya. It is an excellent new variety with large fruit. It has disease resistance to TY and TSW, which is yellow leaf curl and spotted wilt. And these are two of the problems that we're facing down in the Loitoktok region of the country. We have other varieties which we use for the bacterial wilt zones up in Kirinyaga and other parts of Kenya, but we're particularly focused today on this Buena Vista for Loitoktok.
The new varieties under development prioritize attributes such as larger fruit size, improved disease resistance, longer shelf life, and adaptability to various climatic conditions.
One of the factors that we have to focus in on more and more is climate change. I think all of us as breeders are approaching this market with an understanding that we will have to produce fruit that can survive in hotter, drier zones or wetter, more disease-ridden zones.
This has already generated excitement among farmers and agribusiness stakeholders.
However, he cautions that patience remains critical.
A new tomato may take up to 10 to 12 years to produce, so it's extremely difficult for the breeders to produce new varieties fast enough to keep up with the climate change.
The tomato breeding program marks a significant step toward food self-sufficiency, improved farmer incomes, and enhanced resilience to climate shocks. Dennis Otieno, Smart Farm.
Sports now. On Kenya's under-20 national team, the Rising Stars will have their final training session tonight in preparation for their opening match of the under-20 Africa Cup of Nations on Thursday night. Our reporter Lukman Mahmoud with the details from the Egyptian capital, Cairo.
After 5 weeks of preparations at home underway in Egypt, Kenya's Rising Stars will take to the field this Thursday at 9 p.m. to face African powerhouse Morocco. Despite Kenya missing at least 3 players due to injuries, the technical bench is optimistic of having a good squad and targets a strong start in the championships.
With that squad of 25 plus, I think tuko sawa, tuta manage. Hatuwezi sit back tuseme tutawaheshimu sana.
Kauli ya kocha ikitiliwa nguvu na nahodha Amos Wanjala. Kenya's captain Amos Wanjala echoed his coach's sentiments, adding that as players, they are ready to fly the Kenyan flag high when they take to the pitch in the opening match.
Tuliona makosa yenye tulifanya, and there was just some few errors, and I think tulicorrect hiyo, and sahi focus iko kwa championship. So tutajaribu kabisa makosa yenye tulifanya huko tusiisi apply huko.
On their part, Morocco have studied Kenya's game in detail, saying they understand the challenges awaiting them in the opening encounter.
No, it's a very strong team, Kenya. Yeah. We analyze a lot of games about Kenya. They want to play, they try to play. They have very good players, 2 midfield with a lot of quality, a lot of ability under pressure.
I know it is a very good team. We saw a lot of video of them, a lot of games of them. It's a strong team, defense or midfielder or attacker. This is it will be a good game tomorrow.
Before the Kenya vs Morocco match at 9 p.m., Nigeria and Tunisia will face off in the first group match at the same stadium. After weeks of preparations, it's now just few hours before Rising Stars of Kenya opening their match against Morocco in the 30th June Stadium here in Cairo, Egypt. Lukman Mahmoud, Citizen TV in Cairo, Egypt.
The national government will revive stalled stadium projects initiated by both the national and county governments to boost sports talent across the regions. Speaking during the launch of the Mogotio Sports Academy in Baringo County, CS Salim Mvurya said that tenders have already been advertised for the construction of works to commence. Mvurya says the government will address challenges faced in construction and will revamp the stalled stadium projects, including Kamarin, Kipchoge Keino, Kapsabet and Bohungu stadiums. So far, the ministry has launched 5 sports academies out of the 37 planned across the country at a total cost of 1.7 billion Kenya shillings. At the same time, the CS called on athletes to maintain integrity by competing cleanly, warning against doping. He added that the state, through the Anti-Doping Authority, is committed to ending doping cases among the athletes.
Tukuna Academy, and all protocol observed.
In the interest of time, wacha tuite.
We expect that in the next 4 months or so, this project will have been completed. And therefore, the first 37, we are now doing the launching across the country.
Gor Mahia coach Sinisa Mihich has raised concerns on the fixture pile-up as his team will play 5 matches in 17 days. He says that he has to prepare his team for the FKF Cup quarter-final match against Kariobangi Sharks on Thursday, then travel to the county of Kisii for a league match against Shabana on Sunday. Buoyed by their 4-0 thrashing of Mara Sugar over the weekend, the mood in the Gor camp is upbeat as they prepare to take on the Sharks at the Dandora Stadium. The Cup competition has been unkind to Gor Mahia in recent years, but the coach feels that this year they will have to go for the League Cup double. The league and the Cup competition must end in 4 weeks' time to give the national team Harambee Stars ample time to prepare for the African Nations Championships CHAN to be hosted by Uganda, Tanzania and Kenya in August this year.
We don't have too much time for preparation because of the tight fixture, right? So today only we have this one training. Last one was recovery, and but we know already. We know what we should. Already we know what we have to do. Yes, every game.
It's always not an easy match playing against Sharks in the cup matches. That's what I can say. So we expect a tough match tomorrow. Being that we faced them recently in a league match, definitely. It's going to be a different approach in this match because it's a knockout stage.
News is done, as he says, so is business
done
and sports.
Sports done.
The bench not yet.
I'll see you. And the bench is packed tonight, Ayub.
Yes, I tell you.
Because the subject is very close to many people's hearts, huh? It's very
sacrifices.
Emotive, right?
Sacrifices.
These young people applying for jobs in the Middle East, everywhere from UAE, you know, Doha, Qatar, Oman, the whole of the Middle East, and also as far away as Saudi Arabia and Baghdad. Last time I was in Baghdad, there was bombs being tossed every day.
Monica says there's also someone who had gone to Myanmar.
Myanmar, there you go. There you go. So we're going to be talking to these young people, and also, I've got the names here, okay. Calvin Nyamwea, Godfrey Mbote, Dolene Osiemo, Duncan Okindo. And we'll also have Francis Wahome, he's the chairman of the Association of Skilled Migrant Agencies of Kenya. Vincent Mbaka, chairman, Kenya Association of Private Employment. And also Virginia Muri, Secretary General, Kenya Association of Private Employment. Gonna have all that, folks. Let the people tell us what they've gone through. Is it a whole con game going on? We'll see. And maybe you've been conned as well. Let us know. What's your story? At Krinanga Jeff.
At Ayub Abdikadir.
At Citizen TV Kenya. The hashtag is JKLIVE. JKLIVE takes a break. We'll be back in a moment. Coming up, did government con Kenyans? Tonight on the JKL bench, we speak to victims and agencies behind overseas jobs.